everyone. Carter here with Treyson. It's the Square Deal, and we are previewing the first live at Legacy Square concert for the year 2025. We're excited about this. It's the return of the Live at Legacy Square concert series, Thursday, July 3rd. Concert is free to attend for all ages. The Square opens at 6 o'clock. Bryan White will take the stage as our opener at 7:30, and our headliner, Sawyer Brown, at 9 o'clock. We hope to see a great crowd down at Dickinson's Legacy Square. I'm here today with Treyson. We kind of have an empty slot in the middle where Xander Beeson was supposed to be, but right now he is at physical therapy for his knee. My first question to you is, I'm the oldest guy in our department by quite a bit. How is it possible that I have the best set of knees of anyone in our department?
That's a good question. I wish that I could say this is exactly why, and this is what was wrong with my body, and this was the angle my body was at when I tore my ACL. But I do not know why you might be more young in your body than me and Xander.
That's right. Yeah, we're trying to figure out who's cool, young, and hip. I have the best set of knees, even though I played high school catcher. But both you and Xander are rehabbing knee injuries, is the bottom line. Yeah, are you going to be fully ready to go for the Blue Hawk football season?
Yep, I'm fully cleared, and Xander is soon. So.
Yeah, well, and the other reason you're here and Xander's not is you are the better and more legitimate country music fan. Xander, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Well, let's preview this Sawyer Brown, Bryan White concert coming up. Let's talk country music more generally. Okay, talk about what you listen to and what you enjoy and your family and so on. If it were Sirius XM radio, we'd be talking about Channel 58, this prime country. That is the Sawyer Brown, Bryan White era that we are talking about. Tell me, who are the biggest prime country music fans in your family or that you've grown up with in Wyoming, correct?
Yep. My family in Wyoming. We got told yesterday we get to have, or the crew here gets to have lunch with Sawyer Brown. And I had an opportunity to talk to my parents. They're like, "You're doing what? You're doing what with who?"
Yeah.
And I just my job or whatever. But they were really excited about that because my parents, which are probably closer to your age.
Yeah,
probably somewhere right around there. They grew up to Sawyer Brown.
Sure. I'm 41, by the way. How old are your parents?
They're a little bit older than you.
Okay, all right.
A little bit.
I had to get that.
I don't think I should tell them the exact age because I am going. This will be put out by the time I get back to Wyoming.
Okay.
So I don't want to say their age because I'll be back.
Fair enough. Yeah, you bet. So you've got legitimate Sawyer Brown fans in your family, and you've been to a Sawyer Brown concert.
Absolutely.
Tell us more about that.
Yep. I went to Sawyer Brown in Afton, Wyoming for our county fair, the Lincoln County Fair. I did pigs. So I think it was one of those things our parents took us because it was right next to there and we're not going to get in trouble there. I did not get in trouble. So
did you have award-winning pigs at the county fair?
How
does that work?
I think my sister got reserve champion that year for the pig showing.
Sure.
So,
well, good.
But we'll get back to the concert, though.
That's right.
It was my first concert that I ever went to, and I didn't know who Sawyer Brown was. So I was kind of like, I was at that age where middle school where I was opposed to everything my parents said. I'm not sure if your kids are that.
I'm
they
sure
will
I
happen.
had that phase too.
And I will say on camera, I have apologized to my mom. But
fair enough.
I probably was a little bit of a moaner, but it was my first time. I went to a concert and I was blown away by Sawyer Brown. I didn't know like any of the songs he was singing at the time.
Yeah.
Probably still don't, but like the people there and just like the performance they did, it's still like they're high energy people. And even though I didn't know what was going on, I could feel the energy. It's my first concert I went to.
Yeah, we're going to get into some Sawyer Brown trivia in just a second, but they've been on tour for a long time, and I think they perform in a neighborhood of 150 acts per year. And
that's what I have in my notes. They formed in 1981.
There you go.
And from what I have in my notes as well, I'm pretty sure they haven't really taken, like most artists, they have like maybe a 3 or 4 year break where they don't go touring. I'm pretty sure they've been touring since 1981.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe a break, 6 months here, but for the most part, they're going to shows.
They crisscross the northern plains and all over the country, and they are a great act, and we're bringing them back to Dickinson. We'll get more trivia in just a second. I want to hear from you. Have you been to any other big-name country music concerts?
Yep, I went to Kane Brown with my wife last April in Grand Forks. We actually went to Dickinson to Grand Forks in the same day.
Wow.
Like there and back.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Never again. We didn't know what the Didn't know what was gonna be the case there, but
you put on a lot of miles in Wyoming, I'm sure, and it's
absolutely.
the same in North Dakota. But a long round trip on one day. Speaking of Grand Forks, I have seen George Strait in Grand Forks. And he was with Martina McBride that year. I've seen Alabama. I've seen Garth Brooks twice, once in Minneapolis, once in the Fargo Dome. I've seen, God rest his soul, Toby Keith. I've seen Tim McGraw. Also, some names that have come to Dickinson, and it's through the Rough Rider Commission, the 4th of July series that they've put on in years past. But we got Brad Paisley on his way up. Rascal Flats, Diamond Rio, Sugarland, Emerson Drive, all those come to mind.
Dustin Lynch, I remember that one.
Dustin Lynch.
I forgot that he came to Dickinson.
That's right.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, so the Rough Rider Commission, a volunteer-based group, has done so many great things for so long. Really, they've handed off the concert to the city of Dickinson, so it's the 4th of July week. It ends up being Thursday, July 3rd, Sawyer Brown to Legacy Square. So that'll be a little new for folks this year.
Yeah, but I feel like that's awesome that they do that.
It really is. Now, we are ready for more Sawyer Brown trivia. What do you got for us?
Sawyer Brown, do I just want me to ask the question, or do you want me to
just... You could pose it to me as a question, or just give me the fun fact, however you want to do this, Mr. Dayton.
Okay. All right, here we go. So, my first question, how did Sawyer Brown Band, in 1981, how did they rise to fame? What was the one thing that happened? There was a huge thing that they won.
Sure. Yeah, and I think I'm getting this. I thought the year was 83, but in the early 80s...
They formed in 81.
Okay. They formed in 81. Yes. They had a different name. I happen to know that backstory, but I think what you're getting at is they were the winner of Star Search.
Yes.
Correct? Which I think was that era's America's Got Talent or The Voice.
Yes.
Essentially $100,000 cash prize at the time. That's what I had seen.
Yep.
So they were the winner of Star Search, a big deal for them in 1983. The other thing that I saw about them, they went at one point by the band named Savannah, but there was another country band with a similar name, so they just started thumbing through the phone book. And there was a Sawyer Brown Road, and they chose the name Sawyer Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I stole your thunder on that.
Nope, you did not steal my thunder on that one. Okay, my next question, there was a big musician that's very first show was a Sawyer Brown concert. Which one? I might have tipped this one off a little bit earlier to you off camera.
Yeah,
right. I'll give him a little bit of that, but there was a big musician now still going that their first concert was Sawyer Brown.
Got it. And now, you hinted something to me earlier. I think this guy was a judge on The Voice at one point. Is that right?
I don't think I can.
Okay.
I do know.
Blake Shelton?
Yes, it was Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton. Repeat that. He went to.
Yes. Shelton's very first show was a Sawyer Brown concert.
Awesome. Cool. So that's an influence to Blake Shelton.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And if that is wrong, I apologize. This is off the internet, so we're gonna see how.
Right. Yeah. If you're a college student, I should be out. How do we cite Wikipedia on these things?
APA, right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. APA.
We'll check with your professors on that.
I don't know if we want to do that. All right. How many total years have they been touring?
Yeah, I mean it's 40 plus, and it's very close to I was born in 83. Star Search was 83. We're tacking on a couple more years to that, so I'm going to go 43 years. How close am I?
That is, on my notes, I have 43 years.
43 years on tour. Okay, very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, those were the trivia questions
there you go.
That I had.
Okay. And I think you said you like and respect their music, but you would have a heck of a time trying to name songs or filling out lyrics to their songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah,
not my specialty.
Okay. Do you know how many number one country hits Sawyer Brown has had?
50.
Well, they had 50 songs that have been in the charts. How many of them got all the way to the top at number one? I've got that as being 3.
Okay, yeah, so because I have the 50, that's why.
There you go. Okay, 50 songs in the charts. 3 of them arrived at number 1. Did you know our opener, Bryan White, has actually more country number 1 hits than Sawyer Brown does?
I did not know that.
Okay, I'm going to rattle off some of these for each group or band. First of all, Sawyer Brown, their 3 number 1 country hits: Step That Step, 1985, Some Girls Do, 1992, and Thank God for You. I don't have a year on that one. Bryan White's number 1 hits: Sittin' on Go, Rebecca Lynn, Someone Else's Star, From This Moment On. That was a duet with Shania Twain.
Yep.
Do you know who Shania
Yes,
Twain
I
is?
do know who she is. Yep.
I'm just checking. Love Is the Right Place, and So Much for Pretending. You're going to hear Bryan White first. He'll take the stage at about 7:30. He's going to go for 1 hour, and that will be an acoustic set. Okay. I've got a little bit of Bryan White trivia for you. Do you have anything more on Sawyer Brown you were hoping to go through?
Just that the lead guy is over 60 years old and he still goes and he's in the crowd and engaging fans. I don't think I could do that at that age.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's take care of ourselves. So in our 60s, do you think he'll crowd surf?
I wouldn't bet on it, but it's one of those things that if you told me that it happened, I'd be like, yeah, that absolutely happened.
Yeah. One other note now. Okay, we're going to tie in with college football reference here. Sawyer Brown wrote a song called the Nebraska Song in honor of the Nebraska quarterback at the time. Tragically, so the song was about Brooks Behringer.
Okay.
Brooke, died in a plane crash, 1996. But my favorite FBS college football team is the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Okay, and I had you pegged as a Wyoming Cowboys fan, but actually, who's your team?
I'm a Utah State Aggie fan. I'm not sure if this region kind of knows about Utah. They might know of them.
And they are jumping to the new PAC conference, right?
Yes, whatever.
That's right. Yeah, whatever they're going to call it.
I do want to add something. I think it's funny that these football conferences, they have their numbers on them, but they make no sense. For example, we have the Big Ten, but there's 18 teams in the Big Ten.
That's right. That might be another tangent for another episode, and we should go there as a college football preview.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring you in for that.
But
we need, like you and I are social studies teachers. We need to align geography and math with college football conferences.
Okay.
You and I will solve that at some point in August. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that day.
So then, I mean, we're nearing the end here, but I prepared a segment that you already told me that you would fail and go 0 for 5. But we're going to kind of test the audience a little bit on this. If I gave you half the lyric to a Sawyer Brown song, we'll find out how many in our audience or whether you would be able to finish the lyric. Okay, from one of their most famous songs, The Race Is On. The race is on, and here comes pride in the backstretch, heartaches, going to the inside. Okay. So are you like a NASCAR fan?
Yeah, I do.
Auto racing fan.
I don't know any of them on it, but I watch it on TV and I'm like, these people are going like 200 miles an hour.
And the cadence to that song that Sawyer Brown sings sounds exactly the way a NASCAR play-by-play guy would deliver it. It is awesome. I thought about singing it to you. I'm not going to sing to you, Tracy. Some girls don't like boys like me. Oh, but some girls do. Okay, you and I are at the stage in our lives where we just want one girl to like us. Our wives.
And some days they do like us.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's add that to the records.
There you go. And we're really testing your own parents as to whether they can finish the lyrics that I'm starting here. Sawyer Brown, I've got to thank the bank for the money and thank God for you. Okay. Another one, 6 days on the road and I'm going to make it home tonight. Bryan White finishing the lyrics. I was looking forward to a happy ending. So much for pretending. You told me you'd go 0 for 5.
I would have gone 0 for 5.
I'm certain Xander would have gone 0 for 5.
Yeah, also. He would have told us otherwise, but
yeah, you bet. I bet we're going to have a lot of people in the crowd who do know those lyrics to the point where Sawyer Brown could just turn that microphone over to the crowd and the crowd will finish off. I think we're going to see a great crowd of all ages at Legacy Square. We are almost done here. Did I miss anything that you were wanting to bring up to help preview Sawyer Brown and Bryan White?
I think we hit everything that I have in my notes, and I'll just add I'm super excited to see Sawyer Brown. I think we're going to have ages. This might be one of our bigger concerts that we have this summer.
Yeah, we think so. All ages are welcome down at the square. Of course, we've got inflatables. We've got
Vendors.
We've got, we went through our list today in kind of a concert checklist. We think we have 12 food truck vendors. Great variety of menus there. Of course, you've got the splash pad that we will turn off eventually, but the dinosaur sandbox area, which you so graciously sweep up every day. My son was in there earlier today making a mess, and you clean it up. Cash bar then available, of course. The food truck vendors, Bryan White at 7:30, Sawyer Brown at 9 o'clock. Thursday, July 3rd, live at Legacy Square. We hope you're enjoying the content that we're bringing to the City of Dickinson YouTube channel. One way you can support us is by clicking subscribe so that you see each and every episode. Trace and I really enjoyed previewing the concert with you, and we will see you on concert night at Legacy Square.